Yep.
The emergency alert system has been activated. All broadcast and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message.
Well, good evening, everybody, and wherever you are in the world, I want to go ahead and say welcome to the brand new, updated GDA podcast. We got a great show today. But first, let me go ahead and introduce to you Dave. The first rule about being in the family is don't talk about the family. Dinatelli, coming to us from Wisconsin.
Well, hello, everybody. Dave D here, high atop the Lambeau Field Atrium here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Home of the Super Bowl champions Green Bay Packers, because I'm going out on a limb. I'm pretty sure they are going to be the Super Bowl champions this year. Well,
I don't know. They got to fight against Seattle first.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Lance? How you doing?
Doing really good, really good. I haven't been doing a whole lot of anything. Work's been really, dragging me down. This is my last week now before I get taken over full time by the company that I've been working for. So, really been in a good mood.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Last night we went to a fry fest at the in-laws, and we were frying up everything from mozzarella sticks, shrimp, jalapeno poppers, onion rings. We even had Twinkies and Snicker bars. It was just awesome. But this morning, wasn't feeling too good, so I think I had to go out and do some digging to kind of get rid of that upset stomach from all that oil and cheese.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So first thing I did is I went to did some recon on the internet, and I went to check out this old school that was built in the late 1800s down south in Appleton, Wisconsin. And so I get there, and the old school's still there, but it was converted into an apartment complex, and there was really absolutely no green space left. So I went into my second plan for the day. I went back to the oldest park there in Wisconsin, and I was fortunate enough to find some relics the last time I was there, so I wanted to give it a second try, and sure enough, I was able to pop out a couple Indian head pennies, and I got a really, really nice looking barber dime from 1900. But I was about an hour and a half, 2 hours into my hunt, and lo and behold, a black and white pulls up, and I knew that this cop was coming for me. He comes out of his car, and he looks at me. I give him a nod, and so I walk over to him because I know he's coming for me. So he's like, "How you doing?" And I said, "Doing okay." Because I got a complaint from a neighbor's around the park here that you were digging, and we can't have digging here. I said, "No problem. I'll take off. No big deal." And he goes, were you digging?" And in my left hand, I got my shovel, So, no, officer, this is just my cane when I get up and down. I don't know, I was just planting trees. No, this is to keep the dogs. Yeah, of course I would. I mean, how are you supposed to get the coins out? He goes, "Did you find anything?" And I said, "Yeah, he told me what I found." And so he was pretty cool about it. He gave me a little, a smile and said, "All right, I'm taking off." He goes, "All right, you have a good day." So, it's just amazing, though. I mean, it's a city park. It's early in the morning, and somebody wakes up and looks out their window and just calls the cops on you.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. A lot of people don't understand, it's city property. I mean, you do have the right to be digging out there, but they still, they make the complaints and everything, and then the police need to come out and ask you to leave. I can understand it.
Well, I mean, the police, they were like, you can dig here, just that if somebody complains, we have to ask you to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go. If the cop says go, you're leaving.
But so, I did see saw some of your finds. I guess that was yesterday. But today I saw some of your finds when you were out digging this morning.
Yeah, that's the two nice Indians I got. I haven't really cleaned them up yet. I know one penny, the Indian head penny. I'm not going to be able to get any date off that.
Yeah.
Usually they come in really good shape, but unfortunately, I don't know, maybe it's because of the dirt. This one was really bad. The date was really crusted over. The other one, I'm sure I'll be able to clean up, but the Barber dime was very, very nice.
Yeah, that Barber dime looked like it was in really good shape.
Yeah. So I'll clean that up, and I'll post those later on. But, speaking of that store, we got, how about the story of the revamped GDA podcast you were talking about, where our members actually become the stars of the show.
That's right. So this is the whole new beginning, I guess you could say. Right now, this is our first show with the new setup of the show. We decided to go ahead and invite all the listeners. If somebody has a story or something that they want to do, all they have to do is record an MP3 of themselves. They can use their phones. They can use, if they go online, there's an app for Windows called Audacity, Audacity. It's a recording software that lets you actually record and save it as an MP3. And then anybody can just get in touch with me and send me that file, and we'll actually play these in the show. And today's going to be the first time, and we got some really big, heavy hitters coming with us today. So,
all right. So, well, why don't we just get into it? I know we have, I think first up on the lineup is a very long time member of Global Detection Adventure, Patrick White.
Yeah.
He's also the owner. What would you call him? The founder?
Yeah, I would say founder.
Was it the Vulcan
Treasure Society? Yeah, that's exactly it.
He's got his own Facebook page, and he was gracious enough to lend us an MP3 file of his story. So, Lance, if you are ready with that, let's hear what Patrick has to say.
All right, let's get into it.
Well, hello to all the GDA listeners out there. I am Patrick White, a.k.a. Vulcan from the Vulcan Treasure Society, and I want to give a big thanks to Dave and Lance for the opportunity to be here, and also to Black ADA for sponsoring GDA with recovery tools that are literally second to none. I'm here to tell a story, so let's go. I got the calling last year to take up metal detecting, and I was looking at clubs and groups in my local area for gold prospecting, and found the Tri-City Gem and Mineral Society. And they had monthly meetings at a local church just a couple miles away, and I planned to go to the next meeting. However, when the time came, I happened to miss the meeting, but I still had time to prepare for the next month. So I went ahead and I ordered myself a Fisher Gold Bug, and I watched countless YouTube videos on how it worked, but somehow it still seemed very complicated and intimidating. So anyhow, my gold bug arrives 3 days before the next meeting, along with a side pouch, digger tool, and a pinpointer. And even after watching all those videos, I was still real nervous about it. I mean, what if I still didn't find anything and I just wasted all that money, or if it just didn't click? What if someone spotted me and had questions? All these were unwarranted worries, but I was still concerned. So the next morning came. It was a beautiful Sunday morning, and I only live about 100 feet away from a small school with tiny children and a small attached playground, so I figured I would go over there to test my machine. So I went ahead and I grabbed a few coins for the VDI calibration, and this is actually where the story gets very interesting. I was on the corner of my house and the school scanning the different coins on the street corner. It was very early, and there was nobody in any direction, no cars, nothing. But suddenly there was a man walking by on the other side of the street who just seemed to come out of nowhere. And as he walked past, he said, "It's been a long time since I swung one of those." And I replied, "Hey, I'm just trying to figure out how this thing works." So he comes over and we start having a conversation. He introduces himself as James, and he mentioned that he used to metal detect a lot, but now he's focused primarily on gold prospecting, and now he's actually developed a chemical test to know if gold is present in any mineral sample. So there was just something angelic about him. I mean, he just happens to appear out of nowhere, and also the guy that I needed to see the most at the time. So he gave me a few pointers on the detector, and I could just see the passion in his eyes every time he talked about gold. You know, it was clear that he had gold fever real bad. And he went on to tell me that metal detecting was the greatest hobby imaginable, and that once I found my first silver coin, I would be hooked for good. You know, I went ahead and I mentioned the local mineral society has a meeting 2 nights from now, and maybe you can come. And he said, I am a member. You know, the meeting is now in Belton and not in Temple, and I will be there. So now I'm thinking this guy really is an angel, because if it wasn't for him, I would have missed the meeting entirely by going to the wrong spot again. You know, and of all the obscure clubs to belong to, he just happened to be a member of the one that I was interested in. So anyway, before James left, he also mentioned that he went to this very same school as a little boy. You know, when he left, I turned my attention back to the schoolyard and ventured into the playground, where I was getting a few signals, but I was still hesitant to dig anything because I just didn't know, until I finally got a consistent tone that I had faith in. That was in the 80s. You know, so for the very first time ever, I got down on my knees and I stuck my digger in the ground, and what do I pull up but a 1992 dime from about 3 inches down. You know, while it is not actual silver, it was gold to me. You know, and I laughed out loud looking skyward. It was so awesome, and I was indeed hooked at that time. You know, so I looked up and around to see if James was still there, but he was gone. You know, and I pondered, you know, just kind of humorously if something paranormal had happened, you know, and if somehow I might actually show up at the meeting for them to say something like, oh, James, yeah, I remember him. He passed away back in 1992, though, back in December. Well, he sure loved his gold. And now you know the rest of the story.
That's just insane, you know. I mean, could you imagine actually being out there and next thing you know, you got this guy telling you, you know, the story that he used to go to the school right there, and then you find a signal, look up, and the guy's just totally gone, and then next thing you know, you're talking with somebody to find out the guy had died, like, however many years ago?
I don't know if this is an Alfred Hitchcock, Rod Serling story, fiction, nonfiction, Jimmy the Ghost. I don't know, man. It's like Global Detection Adventure meets Ghost Adventures.
Yeah,
I like it. It's a cool story.
I mean, I've had my own ghost stories in the past. It had nothing to do with metal detecting, but to have something like that happen, it just had to be, you know, just off the chart.
Kind of freaky, kind of cool. I dig it. Thanks a lot for that, Patrick. Very good. Hopefully, we'll get some more stories from Mr. White in the future.
Yeah.
But hey, I forgot to tell you, I got in the next couple weeks, the next couple guests are going to be on our podcast. Out of Georgia, and the next 2 podcasts I think they'll be stateside from the U.S. and we're going to talk about Civil War artifacts, and we have Digger Ray out of Georgia. He's going to talk to us about his experience digging Civil War relics, and also out of Aiken. I think it's Aiken, South Carolina.
I think it's that's the one with the AACH. I think that's Aachen.
Aachen.
Yeah.
Aiken. Aachen. South Carolina.
No, you got
call
me.
him the Button Man. He's Laszlo Peter Ellis. He's been doing this for a very, very, very long time, and he always entertains us with his finds.
Yeah, and really impresses us, too.
I mean, this guy can have a museum in his house, and that people would come to pay to come and see his stuff.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. So, looking forward to those 2 guys. And speaking of our club members, I got invited by one of our club members. This is to be my first invite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jerry Olson. Remember, Jerry out of Minnesota?
Yeah.
He's got a permission, and he's invited me to come across. It's about a 5.5 hour. Well, I'm gonna say 5 hour ride to his house, but he's got an old permission, and it's from the 1800s. He said 1800s, which hopefully there'll be something there, because I know his last permission that he got was a 1900s house, and he only managed to get a wheat penny. So I would hate to drive 5.5 hours for a wheat penny,
Yeah, I completely understand.
What would you do after that? The only thing that'd be cool would be to go to his shop and work on some trumpets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I talked with Jerry. I think it was 2 days ago. We got to talking on over the Facebook Messenger phone app, whatever you want to call that. And he's a really nice guy, really great guy, and I think you're going to have a good time with him out there. I think he told me about the permission that he's taken you to, and unless there's new fill on top, I think you guys are going to be striking it rich out there.
Yeah, I hope so. I'd like to get more than one or two, good finds when you go out hunting. I've been getting good finds. No, I'm not complaining about that. I said I'm getting kind of jaded. I mean, when I first started, I would come home with 5-6 good finds that I was really, really happy with. And now, I'm gonna get 1 or 2 at the most, and one hunt.
Well, you gotta think of it this way. You've now been hunting a lot of these areas so much that you've pretty much got most of the stuff out of there. So now for you, it's a matter of trying to find a new place to actually go that hasn't been hit before.
Well, that's the thing. I'm really low on my silver count. I mean, I'm humble enough to say that I'm only 5 silvers in, and I'm usually averaging at least 30 for the year, and I'm only 5. I mean, I don't say it's a horrible season. I'm just going to the absolutely hunted out and wrong places. And just because we're just so limited here, I mean, we've just pretty much hunted everything. And there's some relics in the ground still, and I'll dig that for, just a little bit of a change up. But I really need to get some older homes and to get out there and hopefully, get that silver count up.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Lance.
I just wanted to kind of let people know who's coming in today. We got Dave Sadler. If anybody who's part of the Global Detection Adventures Facebook group, podcast, that's what this is. Anybody who's part of the Global Detection Adventures Facebook group, they know that we post a lot of stuff from the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine online. And he's coming in today, and he's going to be talking about his history, why he started up the magazine, what he was doing before, and then might even get into a little bit of crypto archaeology as he's helping bring one of the world's leading knowledge experts, I guess that's a really loosely used term, for ufology, back to the United Kingdom for his first time to speak over there in many, many years. So, yeah, this is going to be a good episode.
He's actually our newsman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we got a news segment, GDA News, and he will be headed that. And actually, matter of fact, don't we have his premiere newscast with us right now?
Yeah, actually, let me go ahead and we'll go ahead and bring you guys the metal detecting and archaeology news. Here it goes.
And now, from a studio in the United Kingdom, it's David Sadler and the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine News.
Hi, my name's Dave Sadler. I'm the editor of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, a free online publication which allows people access to fresh articles written by people for the magazine. You can find all sorts of things on the magazine. So here I am this week with our first Archaeology and Metal Detecting News rundown. So looking around the world at the moment, there's been a fantastic find of a Roman mosaic unearthed in a wheat field in Turkey's Kirikkale. The Roman mosaic, estimated to date back from the 2nd century, has been unearthed in the central Anatolian province of Kirikali's Delis district. The excavation field appeared last year after rainfall in a wheat field in the village of El Imali, and the 48-centimetre mosaic was discovered there. A fantastic-looking mosaic with a lot of work going on in that area by the sounds of it. Over in Pompeii, skeletons and coins have been found dug up in one of the shops. Italian and French archaeologists have discovered 4 skeletons and gold coins in the ruins of the ancient shop on the outskirts of Pompeii. The skeletons of those young people include an adolescent girl who perished in the back at the shop in ancient Rome town when Mount Vesuvius erupted and covered it in ash. A statement said from the office area, the famous archaeological site near Naples. And the coins are pretty fantastic. The gold coin does show clearly the bust of one of the emperors at the time. Over to Greece now. A team of archaeologists diving near the Greek island of Antikythera have reported a startling new discovery from a previously explored 2,000-year-old shipwreck. The find, a very heavy metal cylinder, offers new insights into the maritime warfare of the ancient times, the scientists say. Of the 40 or 50 shipwrecks around the Mediterranean, there's nothing like the Antikythera, says Brendan Foley, an archaeologist from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute. He's only recently returned from exploring the ruined ship, which now sits nearly 200 feet beneath the surface, encrusted with sediment and sea life. In 1900, marble and bronze statues brought up by the sponge divers who discovered the ship stunned the world. Even more amazingly was the Antikythera mechanism, a mysterious metal device the size of a wall clock. It turned out to be a sort of clockwork computer that predicted planetary movements and seasons with remarkable accuracy. And now, obviously, more things are being found from exactly the same well-known shipwreck. All these things that we're discussing today can be found on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine website, archmd.mag.com. There you'll find all sorts of things from articles, which we are currently in the process, having unfortunately lost our website a few months ago, and are currently in the process of rebuilding it. Articles will be redeveloped there soon. The news items are added on a daily basis. Media files, there's an events page, which currently has several items on it, including a metal detection charity rally in Smallwood Village, Cheshire, organised by a John Webb. Uncovering Collyhurst Old Hall in the UK, an event which ourselves, Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, are sponsoring, which is quite interesting. Eric von Daniken is making his first visit to the UK in a long, long time. The event will taking place in London in October. Will be streamed worldwide. There's a live stream promo code for people who read the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, who'll be able to get money off the live stream event. We also have a resources page. Now, unfortunately, the research page, when we lost the website, we lost a lot of the resources that we obviously had access to. In short, at the moment, we are trying to update these as best we can. It's not as good as it was, but it's a good research area. We've also added an additional section to the site at the moment, which is PDFs, which basically you can download free of charge any of the PDF books that are available on there. For instance, at the moment we've got an dictionary of archaeology, medieval archaeology, a dictionary of artifacts, the Romans for Dummies, Roman inscriptions, archaeometallurgy, detectives finds 1, 2 and 3, buckles, introduction to medieval coins and identification guides for archaeologists. There's also a links page, which again is being updated as we go. So that's a little bit about the Archaeology magazine, which on today's show, I think I'll be a guest myself and be discussing these things a little bit more at length. So thank you very much, and that was this week's Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine news.
Well, I personally am kind of a sucker for those Roman, the Roman mosaics, and I really want to take a look at that one. Yeah, it sounds fantastic, especially being out there in Turkey.
Yeah, I really can't wait to talk to Dave today. It's I guess I've always been into archaeology as far as interest, and I love those shows on TV when you're going in there and you're exploring something, you're digging something up and seeing it for the first time. So it always intrigued me, and I think it's going to be a really good interview when we talk to Dave a little bit later on. But this just came in. This is a live report from Patrick White. Jim is alive. He's alive. The story was fiction. Oh, God, man. I thought either Patrick is cuckoo or, man, we're into some hellish stories from the future from this guy. But thanks, Patrick, for that update. I'm really glad Jim is alive, and I'm sure Jim is glad that he's alive too. Oh, brother, what are you gonna do?
That's a good thing. I think Patrick is basically coming on. He will be providing us every episode he'll be providing us stories, and I think we'll have to figure out if these stories are going to be true or if they're going to be fictionalized stories. I think that might be a good little thing for some of our people to try and figure out what's true and what is made up.
Yeah, well, I got some really, 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 really good news, and
What's up?
This is nonfiction. This is true. We have a major sponsor who is interested in sponsoring us, and what I'm talking about is they will really, really help build GDA's Facebook page and bring in more members. Because not only they are going to a very, very high reputable company, but they will provide our members with all kinds of swag. We'll be having a lot more giveaways, and really, really, really great giveaways. We're talking pinpointers and metal detectors, hats, T-shirts, gloves, all that types of swag. So we are still talking. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a go. I'm just waiting for the major signing of the papers before I will announce it. But hopefully by the next podcast, everything will be set. And I'm like I used to say, I am really stoked about this one, brother.
Yeah, that's going to be good news for everybody because the end of the year package for Best Find and then the Global Detection Adventure Awards will be coming out at the end of this year, and these are going to be two big packages for all the listeners and all the people that are posting on the Global Detection Adventures Facebook page. And so this is going to be really big news, especially for them.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a top-of-the-line metal detector.
Yeah.
Like as an AT Pro. We're talking about the Carrot Garrett. We're talking about diggers and trowels. We're talking about hats, T-shirts, patches, gloves, a bag, a finds bag. I mean, you win this package, you're ready to go. I mean, you're all set. There's nothing you have to buy. And, I mean, this package is easy, $1,000 package. So we're really happy about that. And we've been doing a lot of qualifications through the video, the finds post, which is post of your find. And all you have to do is post a find, and then the best one gets picked for the week, and then you qualify for the end of the year prize package.
Yeah, and the people that are picked, basically the only thing that determines who gets Find of the Week is the amount of likes, the amount of comments, how active that post was, and that's what determines if it becomes Find of the Week or not.
Yeah, and what was I going to say on the finds of the week? I would also. And I think maybe you can handle this one, Lance. I would like submissions for video of the month to qualify. So all you guys are doing a lot of metal detecting videos out there, and I tell you, I watch every single one. I look at everyone's posts. I try to comment as much as I possibly can, and I spend a lot of time making sure that it's running smoothly. And I watch everybody's videos, and I would like some video submissions for the best video of the month. And let's plan for the end of July for that announcement. So if you have a video of metal detecting, Why don't you guys start posting those, and I'll look at those, and I'll grade them, and then at the end of July, on our July podcast, which will actually be on the 31st of July, I will announce on the podcast the best video of the month, and that person will also qualify for the prize package.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good one. I could definitely do that. In fact, I wanted to find out if there was anybody that was out there that would like to. Sorry, Patrick. Yeah, R2D2 was in the background with me. That was one of my apps on my phone. Just started letting me know that was going on, and when it does that, R2D2 does that. Sorry. So I've muted that phone now. So anyway, I'm trying to see if there's anybody that actually wants to come in and help with the production as far as some, let's say, making videos that showcase everybody else's videos. So basically, the way that Global Detection Adventure started is we created videos that basically brought in clips from everybody else's videos from around the world. So I'm looking for somebody that has interest and has the ability to edit multiple different types of videos together and release at least each month, if not each week, a video called the Global Detection Adventures, where it shows the best finds from, let's say, 4 different videos. The video itself is between 5 and 10 minutes long, and links the originating person's YouTube channel. And it also gives us a little bit of advertisement as well, and helps us to reach a larger audience, as well as creating a larger audience for each of the people that are in the videos.
Exactly. And we're always trying to build the GDA team. And we actually started out with 10 prominent GDA team members.
Yeah.
And then it dwindled down to 2, just Lance and I. We were able to pick up one just recently, and Robert Hope, and he is a admin on GDA, and also you will hear him today. Actually, he will be doing a metal detecting
beach hunting. Beach hunting.
Yep. And but we're always looking for team members. This is a really fast growing. I'm not going to call it a company, but it's a very fast-growing entity, and we have big plans. Facebook and the podcast are just stepping stones to our ultimate goal, and but we definitely need some really, really good people, consistent people, people that we can trust to join the team. And there's not a lot of perks, but right now, I should say.
Yeah, that's
but,
right
but
now.
It's more for the love of metal detecting, and so if you're willing to wanting to join the team, just let us know, and we'll be glad to have you aboard.
And just remember that if you do join the team, you're basically going to be assigned one job, and that's the only job that you're going to have to worry about. The further that we get ourselves and branch ourselves out into the different formats, we're going to need people to help cover down, because slowly Dave and I, with the help of Bob, I know Bob's out there listening right now, we're getting swamped. It's starting to bog us down, and we're going to need some people like you guys out there to help us out. So anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought we'd go ahead and cut into our advertisement right now and let people know about some awesome digging tools and a special sale that's going on at one of our favorite websites to purchase metal detectors, and we'll bring our guests right back in.
All right, see you in a bit.
Yep.
Black ADA are not only our sponsor, but they're also really good friends of mine. So what I'd like you to do is head over to www.blackada.com and see for yourself the wonderful line of advanced digging accessories that they have available on their website. Now, I know what you're thinking. Digging utensils specific for metal detecting are going to be way overpriced. Well, let me burst that bubble, buddy. Each one of their items are extremely affordable, so they could be bought by just about anybody. And there's a reason why they're considered one of the best digging accessories on the planet. Each one of their items has reinforced shafts to really thick welds that can really stand just about any abuse you throw at them. I have the Stingray, and I've been using that on a hard-packed field that has a whole lot of stones in it. And believe me, it's been tearing through all that like they were butter. And that extended invader is one of the greatest things that I have for open fields. There's no need now to bend over and dig a hole, then rescan it with the metal detector. I can dig a hole while standing up, and then scan the hole with my metal detector to see if I've got the object out. It really saves my old knees. So head over to www.blackada.com, and I guarantee you won't be disappointed with the objects that you see on their website. From sand scoops to shovels, everything that they got is some of the best on the planet. That's blackada.com. So as soon as we get done with this podcast, head over there. Don't go over there right now. Go over there as soon as you get done with the podcast. No, seriously, not right now, after the show.
Well, you heard me talk about it last week, and I want to kind of reiterate to everybody, get on over to BowieCountyMetalDetectors.com and take advantage of the special promotional offers that they are giving to all the listeners of the GDA podcast. So head on over there, and if you're looking for a new metal detector, type in GDA1. If you're looking for a new search coil, type in GDA2. If you're looking for a new pinpointer, type in GDA3. Now, on each one of these purchases, you'll save 5% if you type in that code, which, if you buy one of each, will save you a total of 15% off your total purchase. So take advantage of these extremely low prices that Bowie County Metal Detectors already has and save an additional 5% on each purchase. So for a new metal detector, that's GDA1, a new search coil, that's GDA2, and for a new pinpointer, that's GDA3. But remember that this offer only lasts until July 10th, which is next Sunday. You've only got 7 days left to take advantage of this additional 5% on the extremely low prices already on Bowie County Metal Detectors. So mosey on over to Bowie County Metal Detectors and save up to 15% if you purchase all three. That's BowieCountyMetalDetectors.com. Yeehaw!
All right, so we're back, and we've just brought Dave in with us. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Hi, guys. Are you okay?
All right, we hear you fine.
Yeah.
Fine, yeah.
Welcome,
Apologies
Dave.
to the listeners for the news broadcast. I can assure you I don't have any bongos whatsoever.
I did have to cut it down a little bit, but I tell you, for the 13th take, that was a really good one.
Yes, first time I've done it, as you know, a recording on the computer, so next time will be a bit better, I hope.
Yeah, definitely. It comes
Dave,
with...
that's what they used to call you, one take Dave, huh? But now you're up to 13. Huh?
So anyway, Dave, yeah, welcome to the show. Thought I'd get to introduce you to everybody out there, and then find out exactly what makes you tick and what brought Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine along. So what is it that brought you into archaeology and metal detecting to begin with?
Well, apparently when I was very, very young, one of my first words was archaeology. I don't remember that, but my uncle tells me that every time I say it. Leading on from that, obviously, TV shows in the UK. My dad, there's a picture on my Facebook of me and my dad metal detecting in a place called Frodsham in Cheshire, when I must have been about 3 or 4, the same age as my own son now. So that got handed on to me in later life. About 10, 11 years ago, I was lucky enough to be invited onto a dig myself in Llanarmon in Yal, which is between Ruthin and Mold in North Wales, which totally possessed me. I was nicknamed Super Dig for the speed I'd strip the turf.
Yeah.
People couldn't get me out of the hole. I was actually pulled out by 2 women for turning purple once. And the metal detecting was a sort of natural progression alongside that. Obviously, the archaeology. I went on to other hobbies, and the archaeology and the metal detecting came back again, and more so the metal detecting. But then the influence of the archaeology, I can see a lot of things in the archaeological community that should be used within the metal detecting community, and vice versa. And there's a bit of a wall right down the middle.
Yeah.
A lot of metal detectorists don't like the archaeological community due to certain aspects of how they're thought about, and again, vice versa. So the magazine itself was my idea. I was off in a long-term period of sickness, and to save myself going stir crazy, I thought, in a moment of, to me, eureka, right, I can do something on the internet. And I produced the Archaeology and Metal Detector magazine after I had a chat with a few people I communicate with, Digger Dawn, who obviously you know, and Twig, and a couple of other people, Steve Asler, Simon Bryant, Pete Sale. And they all thought it was a good idea. And to be honest, I thought it was just going to be me doing what I do. And I don't know, a couple of hundred visitors would take on the opportunity and read the things that are there. But that sort of progressed to, in the first month, over 5,000 visitors. And before the internet, the unfortunate crashing of the system in Germany, which deleted a hell of a lot of websites, not just mine, we'd reached 27,000 visitors in just under 3 months. So obviously that spurred me on to, it was a right kick in the teeth when that occurred, but it spurred me on to recreate the site in a different format. It looks the same, but there's a hell of a lot of differences, and try and work harder again. And exactly akin to yourselves, I'm trying to bring people on board to assist with the posting of different things and the sourcing of different information, and especially the writing of fresh, new, and interesting articles.
Yeah.
Well, Dave, are you an actual registered archaeologist, or you're just more into metal detecting?
No, I'm not. I mean, I have taken several courses which, although they are run by the archaeological community, the one I've currently been doing, I'm about to start week 2, is with Reading University in the UK. Oh, wow. I actually shared that on the Archaeology and Metal Detector magazine this past week due to it being a free course. So I've done about 7 courses in the past with archaeology, but no, I haven't actually sat down and become a fully fledged archaeologist at university, getting me BA of honours, etc., due to time, family, and other things. Really, I mean, I've got right next to me here all the exact course books that the archaeologists use in studying. So I feel it's a good grounding for. Obviously, I know more about metal detecting because I'm proactively involved in that. But with the archaeology, I feel it's, to me, a good idea to learn at least the basics of archaeology to A, be able to comment, B, be able to produce the magazine, and C, to be able to pass over that information into the metal detecting community and the group that I'm the chairman of, Tempest Metal Detecting Archaeology.
Yeah, that's fantastic, yeah.
How would, what's the feud, I don't know if it's a word, between the archaeologist and the metal detectorist? What are the main issues, and why do we look at archaeology as more professional, more, I would say, important than metal detecting? And what gives the archaeologist, besides schooling, as far as how to determine and an experienced metal detectorist? What do you think the difference is, and why do you think there's that battle?
Well, first and foremost, yes, archaeologists are well trained. They spend years and years at universities and such like, and their learning is constant. They learn new things. They have, different things are found out about archaeology. They have to change the methodology. It's always, it should always be improving and changing to suit the environment of the 21st century. The feud I would probably suggest is, all the time and effort that they're putting in, and also because more so in the past, there's been a lot of illegal metal detected on land that there shouldn't be in the UK. I'm a bit vague on laws in the US, so I can't comment on the laws in the US. And I know metallic history isn't as old in the US as it is in the UK. I mean, I could go out tomorrow and find a Roman coin, nearly 2,000-year-old coin, whereas I think that's less of a common factor in the US.
I would put it at around 0% factor.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously Lance is a lot more lucky being in Germany. He can find things. I mean, I've just shared an article today about a place in Germany where there's a lot of Roman finds been found, which is probably millions of miles from Lance.
Yeah, it is. I'm in the Roman dead zone right here.
Yeah.
Well, you get an experienced metal detector. Say a guy that's been doing it for 30 years. He knows his craft. He knows where to dig. And just imagine him going in and he's digging and he finds this amazing treasure and he starts digging, and then all of a sudden the police come in and goes, "You can't dig anymore." An archaeologist has to come and dig. Now I know that's going to piss off the 30-year experience from the metal detectorist.
Oh, definitely.
Why do they look at this archaeologist like, what is he going to do? He's going to do the same thing, except he's going to have strings and ropes, and he's going to do it meticulously, and he's going to do it very, very slow because he makes sure he doesn't damage anything.
Yeah,
but
it's got to be meticulous. I mean, there may be a case that if I get to a certain depth and I find, I don't know, a ruck of coins, and I notice there's some pot around it, there's always potential that I might break the pot, and it's something that the archaeological community would want to excavate and actually remove that intact if possible.
Yeah,
it's fully understandable. At the end of the day, the 30-year experienced archaeologist, metal detectorist would get the. It would be his find. He'd get the find. He'd get a probable reward for the find. But at the end of the day, it's cool. I completely agree with it all getting done properly. I mean, there was one not long ago in Shropshire by a group whose name eludes me at the moment. Two chaps found a Roman hoard, and they automatically pulled in the local archaeologist who come along, and they were great about it. They allow, well, obviously the finds liaison officer, the archaeologist came in. They removed everything properly. There was some scattered, but they allowed the metal detectorist who found the find to be involved every step of the way while they were there.
Yeah, I remember that one as well.
We're taking over and you go away. It was, fair dues, you found it and you want to see what happens and you want to see the find, and we're just going to do it the way it's been trained to do.
That was the one that was found on that pasture field. I remember the videos coming out. I think it was aired on the BBC, and they actually showed him out there, and it was on the farmer's field, and they kept the location secret because they were worried about nighthawkers.
Yeah. One of the members of our group, Graham Withers, who unfortunately, he owns the pub where we have the meetings, and he's probably the nicest and most experienced metal detectorists I've ever met, along with Dave Clark in the group. And unfortunately, Graham yesterday they thought he broke his hip, but he's been lucky that it's just muscle and ligament damage in the hip, which is going to put him off metal detecting for some time. Oh. He actually found a hoard of coins it was in Cheshire, near Crewe, and he took somebody along with him, and the gentleman he took along with him found some of this hoard also. When the finds liaison officer asked Graham, was there anybody with you? Was there anybody else there? Yeah, this person was there, so she phoned him up. No, don't know what you're on about. Never been there, don't know Graham Withers. And the farmer as well thought Graham was there at night metal detecting. He phoned him up. He said, "Are you on my land now, metal detecting?" He said, "No, mate, I'm somewhere else having a meal with my wife." They found out by the car that was in the area, it was exactly the same person who was with him, who denied going to the finds liaison officer of going back and night hawking. So God knows how many additional of these beautiful coins that he found.
Oh, that's just horrible. Yeah, and then, see, I think the biggest, like Dave Sadler was saying, I think the biggest issue between archaeology and metal detecting is just the way items are recovered.
Well, how would we bridge this gap between archaeologists and metal detectors, and how can an experienced metal detectorist get involved and actually work on these archaeologist digs? I mean, what would be the first step? Say I am interested in doing and helping archaeologists doing a dig, and who do I call? Where do I go? What's my first step?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we used to be one of them as well. Anyway, I personally, in that case, there's a hell of a lot of groups out there, archaeological groups proper, And, it's quite easy to contact them and become a member of the group and offer your services. I mean, if you're going to be a part of the group, you're also going to be taking part actively in archaeological digs. And as a metal detectorist, you're going to learn so much. If you find something in a field and you dig down, generally you'll dig down, you'll see it, and you won't notice anything else around it. If you're doing some archaeology as well, and you learn the methodology and you learn what to look for, you might, in the future, find something in your field when you're metal detecting and notice that there's different textures to the soil and such like, and be able to comment on this actually might be something archaeological, and bring it to the attention of the archaeological group, and you might find something else of consequence. But yeah, there's loads of groups out there. I mean, even if you need to liaise in the UK with the Finds Liaison Officer and ask, their advice, this is, again, why the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine was brought together. All the articles that get put on there, all the news stories that get put on there, as you know, mostly are archaeological, because there's, I'd say, a 75-25% split in the media of the articles between the two, leaning obviously more towards archaeology. But when these articles are produced, when I put them out there for people to read, I want everybody to read every article that's there that interests them. And then the archaeological community may be able to say, this is actually doing some good, this article that I'm reading there and about metal detecting. And, there may be a change in the mindset of, let's bring more metal detection into what we do now as a valuable resource to study the site itself. You're going to get more information from the field that you're in by potentially finding metal detecting finds and lead them to other things in the field. And vice versa. They're going to learn more about the archaeology, and it's going to hopefully bring them as a tighter community. It may not be everybody, it may be just one or two. But even if it's one or two people who will take that on board, that to me is a benefit for both sides of the wall.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put us on pause for a second. Got a report on beach metal detecting coming in from Bob Hope, and we'll be right back.
Hi there, it's Bob Hope from the Global Detection Adventures team here in the UK. I'd like to give you a little chat regarding some beach detecting. Here in the UK, quite a few newcomers to metal detection actually use the beach as starters. Anyway, I expect to give you a few tips, both on detectors and obviously reading beach conditions. So it's all about really knowing your beach. Right, first thing is, you really need to know about beach metal detecting is actually to read the beach itself. Once you've been on the beach a few times, you start to get to know the high spots, the low spots, the days when sand have been deposited onto what they call the hard pack, and days when it's been stripped from the hard pack, which can be quite lucrative. Fortunately, it doesn't happen very often in the northeast of England for me, but we do keep an eye out for it. Another thing to watch for is cuts that's been generated, and very low spots where water is actually lying as the tide is actually receding down to the low tide area. That's possibly where things that's been drawn back by the tide actually settle in the low spots, and it can be quite lucrative at times. Mainly the dry spots is where the new detectorists will be starting. Single frequency machine really doesn't like the wet sand, and isn't very effective once it gets into the saturated sands. It just gives false detection all the time. The dry sand hotspots is where them lads really need to be concentrating till they become familiar with the beach and possibly decide to upgrade the detector for something like a pulse induction machine, which in certain beaches is great. Other beaches can be quite annoying if there's a lot of trash, because obviously you don't have any discrimination on a pulse induction machine, so you are finding everything. And I mean, you can do quite a bit of digging if you've got a PI machine, because obviously you can't discriminate out the iron and anything else what you want. But anyway, I do use both. I use a Minelab CTX 3030, which is a multi-frequency machine, works brilliantly on the beach, but I also use the White's dual field PI. I use that mainly on my local beach, which I know is pretty much trash free once I get off the dry sand, get into the semi-wet, and obviously down by the tide line. Very little junk down there. I do dig the occasional piece of iron, deep iron, but that's part of life. I can live with that. So basically, your dry sand hotspots. If it's a busy beach, your towel line. Look to see where people have been. You know, where they drop the towels down, to place the towel on the beach to lie on, to place the items next to them. If you've lost anything on the beach, you will know how hard it is to find it again. It just seems to sink right down into that sand within seconds. And the more frantically you look for it, the less chance you have of finding it. And so that's where you're going to find the rings have taken off to get the suntan lotion on, you know, stuff like that. But obviously, when the sunny days come out, the public come out, and I say that's what they do. They remove jewellery so they can rub suntan lotion on the kids, you know, on themselves. They remove coins from the trouser pockets as they're taking the trousers off, get the shorts on. They tend to fall out, and so you tend to find a few little coin spills, which are great. But this is what we call the towel line. It's where most of the beach goers who've gone there for for a few hours, half a day or whatever. That's where they stay. They'll stay right up away from the water, right up against promenade walls, obviously sheltering from the wind. And I say that's one of the areas beginners really, really need to concentrate on. Unfortunately, along with that, it comes with the trash. That's where you're going to find your ring pulls, your tins, you know, your wine bottle tops. Quite a bit there, but if you sit and pick through it, I know you've got to dig them because the signals are correct. It can be quite frustrating at times, but once you know the beach and you've been down there a few times, you start clearing it up, you start getting them items off the beach, drop them in your finds pouch, clear them off, and eventually you will start finding the goodies once you've cleared the rubbish out. It does take a while, but if there's a couple of you down there, a couple of lads together, both detecting, it doesn't take that long to clean up the beach until you get the next wave of activity which comes along, and it's all deposited trash again, along with the more goodies, of course. So that's where you should be looking: the dry hand hotspots, the towel line, the activity centres, entry and exit points where people come on and off the beach. First thing they do, they get their hands in the pockets, take the coins out, put them in a sock, put them in a shoe, something like that, you know. Obviously when they're pulling them out the pocket, chances are they may lose one or two items. Check them as well. Entry exit points, mainly steps or whatever access there is down to the beach. The last place you want to be is really in the wide open spaces. That's the big expanse between the dry sand to the semi-wet sand, down to the wet sand, obviously down to the surf line. I would leave that till you're a little bit more experienced. Concentrate further up on the dry sand and possibly a little bit into the semi-wet. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. It's just a short, brief summary of beach metal detecting, and have a bit more chat about beach detecting and furthermore how to read the beaches. Right, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.
All right, so that's beach metal detecting. So, Bob will be bringing us... hopefully, each episode he'll be bringing us a little bit more updates. He wants me to go ahead and apologize for his audio, his microphone at that exact moment when he decided to record that kind of flickered out. So he went ahead and recorded that using his computer, but he's got his microphone back up and running now, and so he's going to have a lot better audio quality on the next one. So he'll be taking everybody through the ins and outs, do's and don'ts of beach metal detecting for beginners. So that should be a good series.
All right. Well, let's get back to our interview. Dave.
Howdy.
Man, sure up, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of talk with you. I know that you've been into paranormal research as well as I have. I think we've both been ghost hunting. In fact, a lot of people know one of my good friends out of Ireland. His name is Barry Fitzgerald. He used to run a TV show in the United States called Ghost Hunters International. And then I became a ghost hunter as well over here, and I believe you even hinted on it that you did it over there in the UK as well. but one of the other things that Barry Fitzgerald does that I only just recently started doing is kind of crypto archaeology. What exactly do you guys cover? Any crypto archaeology on the website, the magazine, or what's going on there?
Well, the magazine basically covers anything and everything. Obviously, a lot of archaeologists don't agree with the crypto archaeologist, as you term it.
What is crypto archaeologist?
Basically, it's the and we're going to speak about it in a moment. I think the Eric von Daniken type things, are the Peruvian Nazca lines actually anything to do with ancient astronauts? Were the Egyptian pyramids built by people from the stars, etc., etc.? Things like that. I mean, it interests me greatly, but a lot of it doesn't make sense or to me whatsoever. A lot of it does, and one of my early groundings of this type of information was Eric von Daniken's early book and first book, The Chariots of the Gods, which my father had a copy of. So when you're young and you don't know things as well as you should at that point, obviously you come across the likes of that, the crop circle books, and that was something that always interested me greatly as a youth. When I've got older, I'm a intrigued mind, very intuitive, and off I go and try to research the researchers and come up with different answers to what they've come up with. So a lot of what these type of people, Eric von Daniken and such like, their work doesn't to me make a lot of sense. But then again, there's so many people out there that it does make a lot of sense to. Millions of people, and at the end of the day, who can say that they're right and who can say that they're wrong? It's just at the end of the day their belief, and who am I or who is anybody to argue with somebody's belief?
Yeah.
Well, I find it interesting, entertaining. That's probably the extent of it. Some things that they say it's just like, oh my God, really? But then some other things you kind of question, So, those shows are on all the time, and those are probably one of the mostly watched shows by me.
Yeah, it's you think of it this way.
I mean, and very entertaining.
Yeah, you think of it this way. Crypto archaeology covers so many different things. Like in the United States, that television show that's running, The Curse of Oak Island, that would be considered crypto archaeology because it's the search for something that they don't know is there.
But isn't it an absolutely fantastic program that you can't keep your eyes off as you wait and see what happens next?
I am so addicted to that show. But also, the search for Atlantis is called crypto archaeology, or the search for El Diablo is the search of crypto.
The King Arthur legacy.
Yeah.
So would the Holy Grail be considered
crypto archaeology?
Definitely, yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that's known or possibly known to have existed that there's no proof of that exists yet. So that's when it goes into the realm of crypto archaeology. Just like cryptozoology is the study of animals who may have, a Tyrannosaurus Rex was cryptozoological at one point, and then they figured out exactly what it was, and it became archaeology or zoology or zoology. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But
cryptozoology, I've done a lot of that in the past as well. In the UK, we have sightings of big cats. Obviously, in the US, in different states, you've got a lot of big cats that you've witnessed, the cougars and such like. But in the UK, that's very rare. So in the UK, we'd class that as cryptozoology, and I've done a lot of big cat sites in the past.
Those would be the Highland cougars, right?
Over in the US.
I mean, in the UK, you got...
in the UK, there's all sorts. There's panthers been spotted. There's, Scottish wildcats are Scottish wildcats there then anyway. But there's all sorts of different cats that have been witnessed in the UK. But, hey, that's a totally different subject.
Well, Dave, where would you like to see this magazine? It's just an internet magazine right now. But is there a hard copy magazine that you're planning on doing?
No, not at all. I mean, I'd love to see in 5 years' time, in a year's time, just more people actually actively taking part in reading the magazine, taking part in following the links to read the different articles that have the different news stories that have been published, using the resource page to learn more about what they potentially have found, because there's a lot of things on there which have for instance, if somebody finds a coin, they don't know what it is, there's coin pages, there's buckle pages, there's links to archaeological sites, archaeological research sites, to utilise them, to download the PDFs, appreciate that the PDFs are free and these are full books in a PDF form, so they could download them onto the tablet and read them in work at dinner time, for instance.
Just not in the car, please.
I just want people to come along and see the magazine. And, well, first and foremost for me, I've been asking people for 4 months, and fair dues. 1 or 2 people have come forward. Alison Smith, who's got a BA Honours in Archaeology. Alex Bliss, who I think works at a museum, he's passed along some articles which you have to re-get off him because obviously the site went down. But I'd love more people to send in archaeological, metal detecting, historical articles of their own. People who don't necessarily get things read, or they've got a voice and they've not utilised it before, and they want to have their thoughts, beliefs, information read by other people, and I want people to come along and offer that information, even photographs of really good things that they found, or information from the Finds Liaison website, the Portable Antiquity Scheme website, and have that printed so other people can utilise that as well. And I'd like people to have a voice and use that voice and come across and have the opportunity to have their work published and for other people to read it. I'd also like, exactly like yourselves, you've got tie-ups with several different companies who advertise through yourself and promote and sponsor each other, and they send you bits and bobs. I'd like companies to realise that this is a good magazine. It's a respected magazine, and they can also send things along for not just testing, but to be promoted, to be utilised, and by myself or other people who I hope to be working with in the future to find more about. Oxbow Books in the UK, who's the biggest wholesaler and editor and publisher of archaeological books, have sent a fantastic book over about medieval seals, which one of my colleagues in the Tempest is currently reading through and going to be writing a big article about. So we're going to promote their books and they'll send their books to us. And I'd like to see that occur, because at the end of the day, that book won't belong to me. It may go into the club, so everybody's got it in the library, or it might be used as a prize. If somebody sends a pinpointer or a metal detector or a new spade, it'll be used as a prize for, I don't know, best article to be written in a month, or something that they've done for the magazine, which normally isn't done. It'd be just nice for that to happen, and that's where I like to see it, people to recognise the magazine and utilise what we've got.
Yeah, and this is also a good opportunity for the people that are listening right now, the metal detectors. If they find something out there, write an article about it. Let's get some more metal detecting articles out there on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. I'm pretty sure Dave Sadler would love having you guys' articles come in.
Absolutely, and of course, articles like that, you've utilised some of the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine articles in the past and printed them on the Global Detection Adventures website. Yeah. So people are going to have the access to that from different sources as well. And a lot of other websites will link to that information. It's happened before in the past. And, hopefully that information will be widespread, and, it might change people's minds. It might be a really good story. Absolutely anything. Obviously, some things may need to be edited. Some things may not be able to be printed under certain rules and regulations. But at the end of the day, I'd just like to see people sharing their information and other people reading it and giving feedback to say if it's good, if it's bad. Same with the magazine, if it's good, if it's bad. I've had a bit of feedback in the past from friends, several people via the website itself, and some people on the Facebook page, but nobody actually gives feedback proper, so I don't know if they think it's any good or not.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that I end up going in there I try to go in at least once a day, usually when I'm at work during my lunch I would say half hour. I don't get a full hour for lunch. I'm such a poor boy. I go in and usually check out the links and as much of the articles that I possibly can. And I recommend everybody take at least a couple minutes. Most of them are really good reads.
You know, you like we're both interested in getting people on board to help us out. I know personally that I've asked a few people to come on board, and the first thing they say to me is, "Well, how much money am I getting? Or are you going to pay for this? Are you going to pay for that?" I go, "Excuse me. First of all, what situation are you in? You're just starting off, just like everybody else is. We're here to help each other, and that's how it should be. That's one of the main focus of GDA is we're here to help you promote yourself, and in turn, you know, you're helping promote GDA. We don't ask you for money. You don't pay us any money. You know, we're just here to help each other out, and that's how you're gonna, you know, you get enough people to really to buy into it and help everybody out. That's how both of our companies are you know, I don't want to say companies again, but both of our goals are going to expand and, you know, become in true light of what we really want to accomplish in the end. And so, you know, if you're coming in, we ask you, you know, hey, can you do something? Basically, it's volunteer work, but you have to love to do it. If you're thinking about making money, then you're not the kind of person that we're really looking for. We're looking for, you know, people that are, you know, really into just helping each other out.
I'm sure the money you've spent on the website and different things, and the money I've spent on the website, and especially the time. I mean, you know, the initial website. I mean, I'm so thankful. There's a chap called Danny Walsh from Walsh Marketing who his company serves the website, and you know he done it all contractually, and he offered originally when I set it up originally to serve the magazine and add different bits and bobs, and it's been fantastic. And anything I've needed. Advice on if I'm doing the right thing, advice on, hey, how do we do this? He's there immediately to help. So that's been great. He's not took any money whatsoever. He doesn't expect any money whatsoever, but I am promoting his group and his organisation, his company, and he's more than happy with that. I mean, he'll be well happy that I've actually name dropped him now, no doubt, which I didn't intend to do, but I'm just saying that's how it goes. Nobody else in any way, shape or form does anything at the moment on Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. It's just me, and Mrs. Sadler sometimes rolls her eyes with unhappiness at the amount of time I spend on the computer. So I've actually stolen my old laptop back off my 8-year-old daughter when she goes to bed to be able to do updates at night. Save me going into the office and doing what I'm doing now and spending time doing the Archaeology magazine as I'm
in the same
talking
boat
to you.
Same boat, you know. The wife she rolls her eyes, she's reading her book, looks at me, and you're on the computer again with the GDA again. I'll say, well, you know, this is something that we really enjoy doing, and this is something that I think if we start early enough that by the time, you know, we're in our 60s, 70s, we can retire, right?
Yeah, with a metal detector in hand.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah.
A Winnebago and a metal detector.
All right, let's go ahead and go to our last segment. We got Siren Kimmy, and she's going to be giving us Siren Kimmy's journey through time. So we'll be back in just a second.
Hello, Global Detection Adventures. This is Siren Kimmy coming at you live in the field, filming the next episode of Girls Rock Metal Detecting. Lance and David were gracious enough to invite me onto the show to talk to you this afternoon, and just wanted to take a little bit of time. They let me pick whatever topic I wanted to talk about, and I thought I would discuss what it is I love so much about metal detecting. Aside from the opportunity to be out in nature, running around like a nymph in the woods, or exploring and digging in fields on a beautiful summer day, or hiding under a tree if it's too hot to be in the sun, it's the aspect of metal detecting that has intrigued me, that brought me full force into the adventure, is the history. There's just something about holding an item in your hand that's been in the dirt for so many years, a relic that has a story, whether it's a coin, a comb, a buckle, a button, whatever it may be, especially the personal items. Those are the best. But items that have been in the ground for, heck, the Civil War stuff I dig is over 150 years old. The best way I can describe it is I was digging on a particular Civil War site recently and recovered 2 amazing New York militia buttons. Now, based on where I was digging, I could pretty much pin it down to the day that the buttons were lost. Because of that, I was able to look up the unit, read diaries, and it was just, your mind just goes crazy. The diary I was reading, it could have very well been a friend of the soldier or the very soldier who lost the button. You just don't know. I mean, I know it's far-fetched, but the possibilities are incredible. So I'm reading these diaries and I'm finding out what it was like in those days of battle, and it really gave me a tangible connection to the past, and that is just simply mind-blowing. I guess the best way to describe it would be what I wrote in an article on my blog. It's called A Journey Through the Past, and it goes a little something like this. Branches crackle and break under careless feet. The pungent smell of decaying leaves, pine, and dirt are made more intense by the gentle stirring breeze. The heat of the day creeps out of nowhere as refuge is sought in a cool draught of icy water, spilling a little onto the neck, letting it slowly trickle down, offering a delightful teasing of cold refreshment. An errant strand of hair is mindlessly brushed off the face before another deep drink of the revitalizing liquid. Mosquitoes, birds, and crickets compete with a strong echo from the past, silent footsteps of those who've come before. A heavy but welcome presence permeates as the souls of yesterday demand attention. They leave behind memories in the form of small, discarded, or lost relics waiting to be uncovered and once again cherished. But that they could speak their minds and tell their tales instead of leaving more questions than answers, and a small token that connects to what once was. A tie that binds to the past while giving reverence to the hallowed ground upon which they traveled. A journey we've now taken together. And to me, that is what it's all about. Getting into nature, feeling the sun on my face, getting my hands dirty, and digging up history, learning about history. It is just an amazing hobby. Thanks to everyone for letting me join you and rock a little bit of global detection adventures. Please feel free to stop over and see me at Girls Rock Metal Detecting. Happy hunting, everyone. And oh, don't forget, rock metal detecting.
All right, so that was Siren Kimmy from Girls Rock Metal Detecting. Everybody knows who that is, and we couldn't be happier to have her on board and giving us her little journey through time. So I expect to hear more from her and all the other guests that were on here, and make sure anybody that's out there, if you want to submit something for us, feel free to get in touch with me, and you're more than welcome to have your voice on the show. And you will be in control of your own segment, so it's all you. We just ask, keep it clean, people.
Yeah, I think it was pretty great. We had 4. How many do we have? 3 or 4?
Yeah, we had 4 today.
4 today, and really professional. I mean, just like first time, probably most of them are doing this, and it's amazing. They're going to get nothing but better, and we appreciate that they're on board, and we're definitely looking forward to hearing more stories and finds and music, Kimmy rock and roll.
Yeah, we got a lot of people complimenting the new style of the show, and basically I just want to let everybody know that me and Dave, we sat down and we really racked our brains the last 2 weeks on exactly how we could do this, and we came up with all this and invited all these people to come in with us, and we did this for you guys, so let everybody else know. So anyway, let's get back to Dave, and Dave, do you have questions for Dave?
No, I'm all right. Dave, whereabouts in America do you live?
I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. But I lived all over. Yeah, I grew up in Buffalo, New York. And then right after college, I went to Los Angeles to become an actor. Did that for about 12 years. Then I opened up.
Did you act in anything that anybody will have seen?
I did a lot of, because,
I've seen one of his things, plus some of his television, and I need to tell you people, if I can get my hands on any of those videos, those are going to be free downloads on iTunes for anybody to watch.
be hell to pay. I did a lot of stage work when I was there. That was my big passion. But I did some TV, radio, in a few films. But no major parts. I was never a leading man. That's for sure. I was never good.
What do you do for a living now?
Right now, I'm in construction. So we're in Green Bay, and I own a construction, mostly in painting and redecorating.
Do you know the biggest thing for me between UK and US construction? The hard hats in America are fantastic. The ones in England are just drab and boring.
We'll have to get you one then over there. Let's send you one.
I've still got a hat here to send over for Lance right next to me.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I wanted to use that when I'm out in the woods. Kind of
with the GDA logo on.
Yeah, get the GDA logo on there, but more importantly, I'm trying to keep what's left of my gray matter still active instead of smacking into trees anymore.
Well, I got one more question for you. Okay, and I know I actually touched on this, but is there a list of an area where guys are listening to right now, or gals who want to start going on these digs? Is there a specific list, phone numbers? That was my biggest thing, to find where I can get in touch with archaeologists and archaeologist programs here in the States, and actually call somebody up and say, yeah, here's a list of digs. You got to call this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Because it's really difficult to try to nail this down on just internet.
On the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, we've got two areas. One is links, which I mentioned earlier, which point not just to some organisations, mainly in the UK. Obviously, I'm trying to make this an international themed magazine, especially through the news articles. But on the links page itself, there's a lot of information to contact different organisations, both metal detecting and archaeology. And there's also an events page, which has got several events on at the moment. One which it's basically been organised in the last couple of weeks. There was an incident occurred in the UK several years ago regarding a soldier called Lee Rigby, who was unfortunately murdered in the street. And his uncle is currently the mayor of Rochdale. So Archaeology magazine and Tempest have come together. We helped last year to put together a metal detecting rally, and we've now finalised the information, and we've organised one which will take place on the 21st of August in just outside Rochdale in a place called Middleton near Manchester in the UK. And that's 100 acres of undetected, previously ploughed and pasture land. The Farnsley Avon officer will be on site and such like. But there's other things on there. At the moment, there's a metal detecting rally in Smallwood. There's a video stream of video of something that we are actively taking part in. Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. I say we, I mean me. And there's another poster regarding that, and there's another thing for asking the public to take part as volunteers in an archaeological dig. So you can always come along to the events page in there, which obviously won't have much unless people do contact me if they want that information put on regarding an event, and there's a poster available to be put on the page, and obviously that'll go on straight away. But you've got other things like with the metal detecting rallies in the UK, you've got the Searcher magazine, which lists most organised rallies. And there's several groups like Metal Detecting, Northwestern Manchester Metal Detecting Britain, who list their organised digs quite regularly. Elsewhere in the world, as I say, if people do have an event outside of the UK that they like the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine to publish and promote, we're more than happy to do that. So that'll give obviously more information on there. But as I say, other information, you've just got to go onto the internet in whatever country you are in and look for the main archaeological communities in the area or groups, and contact them via that. A lot of them will be information, just contact us through this box here, or there may be a phone number or such like, but that's the only information I could probably give.
What about, the first time metal detectorist, all of a sudden he goes on the archaeology site. You've been on the site, and you, as a metal detectorist, what's the true story? How are you guys treated? Do they just throw a bunch of pile of dirt up there, and they tell all the metal detectors, "Hey, just go sift through that with your metal detector." And then as you go over there, they start laughing at you, or are they actually, really getting you involved? And is it as interesting as you think it's going to be?
In my personal experience, there wasn't any negativity. There was two of us taking part. We'd both taken part in the archaeological dig, scraping and digging and such like firsthand. So we were active in the archaeological side. And then we did mention to the site director, would you like us to, do go have a look at the site with the metal detectors? And he agreed. We had a look. Obviously, the spoil heaps because a lot of things are missed. And thereafter, we looked at the site itself. I think there was a jettons found. This was obviously some time ago by my colleague, but we were obviously given access to the next field by the farmer, which was, the back of the land of the fence, and then it carried on the same field more or less. And we were actually lucky enough to. We did some research and we found there was an aircraft crash in the area, a Second World War plane which was coming down the valley on manoeuvres. Wow. And we were lucky enough to actually find parts of the aircraft there. If I remember again correctly, my colleague found the one of the communications board from the aircraft itself.
Sweet.
Forgive me for not being able to tell the full story. It was quite some time ago and I haven't got the information to hand. But, that wasn't part of the actual dig, but we were able to add it to the report of the dig that we did find some of that thing. And it ended up being on display along with the jettons and several other things at the Llangollen Museum in North Wales.
That's really cool.
So, yeah, we were treated well, but, it was... It was quite a family feel to that dig, and the group itself. It was more friendship and family than the what people would expect.
So it's just a few days, 3 days, or what's the average going out there and helping these guys out, or is it?
Well, on that dig, I think it was basically the whole of the summer, every weekend and into the winter. So I think we must have done a good, some weekends, obviously, we're there Friday, Saturday, Sunday after work and on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But I think we were there quite some time, a good 10, maybe 15 weeks. Because there was so much going on there. There was a Roman road that ran through the site. There was a medieval manor house that we were looking for, the house itself and the bits and bobs that were attached to that, and also a cave on the site. There was a cave excavation taking place at the same time as everything else, plus the other area itself outside. Over the road was a Motte and Bailey castle, so we were very, very lucky at that location.
Yeah, Randall Guerra had a question for you guys. He wanted to know which site was best for you to dig on.
Me personally,
yeah,
archaeology or metal detecting. Archaeology-wise, that was the best site I was involved in them because there was so much and there were so many finds. I think one of the site director was actually teaching at the Chester University, and he utilised that site to bring his students along to actively take part. So that site for me, I mean. I'm quite well known for occasionally making a bit of an error. And my error in judgment at this one, we were excavating a certain area, and we came up with this stone feature with straight, flat sides, bottom, etc. And we ummed and ahed at what it was. So I had a bit of a crowbar, and I was poking around at a hole. Unfortunately, the day after, you couldn't dig on the site anymore because I'd actually ruptured the flow of water which hadn't passed through there for some time, and it flooded, and it ended up, according to the site director, being the lost well of St. Garman. So potentially I may have inadvertently discovered a lost well by accident, being a bit over exuberant, let's say. Metal detecting wise, I've got a site in the UK, in Cheshire, and it's very close to my heart because the amount of things and different things and things from far afield that I've found. Also one that I'm a guest on, of my friend I mentioned earlier, Graham and Dave, where we together found a jetton hoard which is now on the Portable Antiquities website, and I'll be transferring the article over with updates at some point over the next week. But we found 21 jettons from the medieval period, plus a massive amount of Roman and medieval things otherwise. So that's probably, and that site is so exciting. I'm getting all gleeful now. I absolutely love driving to that site. Unfortunately, I was off work, as I said, for a period of time, which allowed me to go out metal detecting. But now I'm back at work and hitting the overtime and having family at the weekends.
Trust me, I'm feeling your pain, brother. I'm feeling your pain.
The website itself I'm more of a keyboard warrior at the moment, and I really wish I wasn't. My metal detector, I'm stroking it at the moment. I've got a Macro Racer 2. I'm stroking that at the moment, and we're desperate to go out. So when I go on holiday to Anglesey in a few weeks, we'll on the beach. I'll be out and about there, and I've got several other sites to got permission to visit in Anglesey in North Wales.
Wow. Yeah, I just ain't cutting you off. We've just reached the hour and 30-minute mark, Dave.
Okie dokie.
I'm talking to the other Dave.
I can't even. You're breaking up a little bit on me. So.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we've just reached. We've passed an hour and 30 minutes now, and this conversation could go on forever. This is fantastic.
Yeah, Dave, we're gonna have to shut you up. Dave, I really appreciate you being on with us. It's just a really, really great, interesting interview with you.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure and an honor. Obviously, I've listened to the previous shows, and between me and Lance, when he invited me along, I was happy to come along, and I've really enjoyed taking part tonight.
Well, thanks.
We're really looking forward to working with you in the future, and hopefully we can get you back on, and especially, we're going to be getting your newscast bi-weekly, so
which I won't leave till the last minute for Lance to edit.
Yeah. No, it's no worries. It took me a little bit to edit it. I cut it down. We were just kind of worried, with the 10-minute news segment, which is kind of what we're pushing for, between 5 and 7 minutes each time. To have a 10-minute segment and then have you as a guest on the show might be overbearing. But that was the only reason.
But you know what? We could have used more of you, because I think the show was awesome with this guy here.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting topics we talked about, and you guys out there in GDA land, you make sure when he posts on GDA with the magazine and some of his articles, you gotta read them. They're very interesting, and you're going to learn something. So,
and please consider writing for the magazine itself, or even if you do find a news article, either tag me in it or put it on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Facebook group page. And, everybody who puts anything will be, I'll put the information on that they've given the details. So, you'll get more credit than you can handle.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, Dave Sadler, what do you got coming up? You got anything to plug?
As I mentioned before, we've got the rally in Rochdale. Also, the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine are one of the what's the word I'm looking for? The partners and sponsors of the major event that's coming to the UK. We mentioned his name earlier, Eric von Daniken. It's the 50th anniversary of the Chariot of the Gods and the 25th anniversary since the last time he came to the UK.
Wow. And
he's going to be taking part in an event in London where he's basically going to be talking about a lot of things, and I believe there's going to be some information given, which is a bit of a coup to the world of the crypto archaeologists. So that's in 104 days, according to the site itself, which is, if you go on again to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine websites and look at events, there's a video of the event and the poster as well. And through that, if you click on the poster, it'll take you directly to the website. But that's supposed to be it's going to be a very exciting event for people who want to hear Eric von Daniken. There's live stream tickets available to be able to listen to Eric von Daniken, to see the event take place as it happens. And luckily for the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, we're going to get hopefully a lot of credit from that and promotion for ourselves, along with other organisations. That's the other main thing that we've been looking at over the past 3 or 4 months, and obviously the rally taking place. But otherwise it's just onwards and upwards, and hopefully other people will assist, help, learn from what we do, offer information, offer a different outlook, and again, bring the communities together. And like tonight, have a chat about things. And if people ask questions, if they have anything in the future to ask me via either GDA or the magazine itself, please feel free to do so. And I might not know the answer, but I'll always probably know somebody who does.
Yeah, it's no problem. Anybody has questions or wants to get in touch with Dave Sadler, just get in touch with me or Dave DiNatale, and we'll make sure that any information gets through to him as well.
Oh, and thanks to Randall Garrett, who's just liked the page on the Archaeology magazine.
Well, thank you so very much, Dave.
Thank you both again. It's been a pleasure speaking to you both.
Yeah, and it was a great honor to have you on board, and thanks for coming by.
Okay, take care, gents.
All right, we'll see you out on the fields.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. Fantastic. And what he's doing with the magazine is absolutely fantastic as well. And I know for a fact I'm really interested in the Eric Van Deniken symposium that he's going to be putting on. I'd love to see what this big unveiling is that he's bringing out. Is he going to suddenly come out and say there's no such thing as aliens? And I don't know.
Hey, guess what? We got through a whole show with no audio problems.
No audio problems whatsoever. This is a record for the last month. Well, actually, 2 months.
Yeah, Dave Sadler brings good karma to the show. Hey, I just wanted to mention before we go, and I promised I would. I don't know. He's a member of us, but he also has his own Facebook page. It's Larry's Thoughts on Metal Detecting, and it's run by Larry Cadra, and he's looking to get to the 2,600 mark in members. And I think he's around 22, 23 or something like that. So, GDA members, this is a another great Facebook page. I want you to go over there and join up. Let's get him to that mark and show him, support, GDA support for Larry's thoughts on metal detecting on the Facebook page. And let's see if we can get him to the 2,600 mark today.
Yeah, let's get him to that.
And we have plenty of members. You guys can come over there and take a look. This guy is very, very. He's got some really good articles in there, some good finds, and he is a old soul when it comes to metal detecting. He's a good guy too.
Yeah. And also, I just want to let everybody know, GDA, we're looking for anybody who would like to take over total control of the Global Detection Adventures website, which is globaldetecting.com. We're looking for an editor-in-chief, somebody who can keep the website up to date with news and posts and everything else.
Yeah, this is one of the things I touched on before. Now, we're looking for an editor-in-chief. You don't have to be an editor-in-chief that's been working as an editor-in-chief in the field for 5 years. Even if you are just interested in being an editor-in-chief and you want to have something to put on your resume, here's a good task for you. So this is what we're kind of looking for: somebody with a little bit of experience or somebody with no experience but a lot of drive.
Yeah. Definitely need a lot of drive, that's for sure.
This is definitely going to help you out because you're going to be an editor-in-chief of a very, very good website, and a lot of people are traveling onto that website, and so it'll look really good on your resume. It's going to help you, it's going to help us, and that's what we're about here.
Yeah, and it's the website has a really good chance. I mean, we can we talked with Dave Sadler, we can take articles from his site and post it on ours, and then as we get fresh articles as well, he can do the same thing with articles from our website. So it's a great open share environment between the two of us. Plus, we're needing somebody that can keep posting stuff on there, maybe 1-2 articles a day, and that's really all you have to do. So yeah, if anybody's interested, please get in touch with me. I'm really, really trying to get this done, and we definitely need to get this website flowing a little bit cleaner. And being as swamped as Dave and I are, it just gets a little out of hand.
Yeah, we have more time in the winter months when we're not digging, but right now, this is our dig time. So, at least for me. But it's been a long show, Lance. That's probably one of our longest so far. It was just a really interesting topic, and we just kept going and going and going. And but it's time to say goodbye.
It is. It is definitely time to say goodbye. So I want to go ahead and for the birthday wishes for members of the GDA family. Brian Conroy actually has his birthday today. One of the greatest guitarists in the world. He lives with his wife and his kids, and he just got. Basically, just got back off of tour with Eric Bassi and Willie Bassi, and he plays guitar for him. So, with luck, you might be hearing some Brian Conroy tunes really soon, straight through Global Detection Adventures. And that's it for the birthdays until next time we're live.
Sweet. All right, I'm Dave D.
Yep.
And that's Lance.
And I'm Lance G.
And this is Global Detection Adventure, the podcast from me in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And from me in the Black Ada Studios in horribly weathered Schweinfurt, Germany. That's going to be it from me over here. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
This has been a production of the GDA Podcast Network.